All right, guys, we're going to go and get started. Today is going to be on keyword research. Appreciate you guys being here. As always, we are in the Philippines, so if I lose power or internet or anything like that, just bear with me. I'll try my best to be as back as soon as possible, or we wind up rescheduling. But we haven't had an issue yet, so hopefully we won't start today. Keyword research. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And then once you're done with your, questions at the end of the class, I'll be answering them. Please turn on your video if you'd like, or you don't have to. It's up to you. I'll be admitting some of these people in to begin with. So we have our keyword research done and all of our content done for our sod installation website, the guy that won the actual SEO, and then I built him a site and everything. We got to do the on-page SEO and everything. We'll be doing all of this, installing the new site today, later today, and then we're going to be going over actual optimization probably on Friday. For example, on-page, interlinking, meta tags, meta descriptions, all that jazz. So I'll give y'all a glance at it, but overall today we're just going to be going over keyword research and how to actually create your keyword research and go about doing it, and then how to create your content based upon the keyword research. All right. So let me go ahead and start sharing screen. This is the brand new site. His previous site looked like donkey crap. There was literally nothing. If I was to, for example, tell you how many words we got on the front page, because everybody asks, how do we do it? We got 1,460 words on the home page. We have a total of about 20 different pages. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I forget, we got several blogs. So let's say 25. 26, 27 pages altogether. All of them at the contact page have at least 1,500 words. Okay, 1,400, 1,500, thereabouts. So we got about, good, let's say 25, 30,000 words of content on our entire site. So we go over everything, buyer intent, and I'm going to tell you what the difference is between different, if you will, keywords, how to do the keyword research, everything. So that's the website. All right, we're going to do the installation. And then on Friday, I'm going to show you how we optimize it and how we start the optimization process for on-page SEO. Who knows, if you could drop a 1, what's the difference between just a keyword and a buyer intent keyword? Do you know what the difference is? What is a buyer intent keyword? All right, so give me, I'm gonna unmute everybody, but I need y'all to raise your hand if you're going to answer the question, okay? You're going to use the emoji to allow you to raise your hand, and then, we'll go from there. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute. So what are the 3 types of intentional keywords or intent keywords? There's only 3 types. Who knows it? Do a 1. Bill Hibbler. Generally speaking, yes. So informational keywords are going to be how, what, right? Why, where, guide, ideas, best, tips, right? So for example, it'd be how to install sod. Where's the best place to install sod? A guide, like you see on our homepage, guides and tips regarding installing sod. Okay, what is the best ways to install sod? These are all buyer or informational keywords. Navigational keywords is another one, but navigational is where now I've already went past the, if you will, the research phase, and now I'm into a buying phase. I want to know more about you. What's your brand name and your product? What's the brand name or this and the service? Combination of keywords. What's the brand name plus reviews? What's the product plus prices? What's the product? I mean, it's the service plus prices. Those are all navigational keywords. I already know about your product. I already know about sod. Now I'm like, okay, who's the best sod person? What's his reviews? You know, I want to know some information about him. Should I go with this guy or go with this guy? Okay, the next one is going to be transactional keywords, which is best place to buy sod, affordable sod installation, you know, or a product or service. Affordable product, affordable sod installation, best place to buy sod, stuff like that. Those are transactional. And I have I have a keyword sheet that I'm going to give you guys that basically we use it to go ahead and we're going to take all of our informational keywords and we're going to put them in the sheet. So for an example, one sheet will be just informational keywords called why, another one called what, another one's called how, another one called guide, another one called ideas, another one called best, another one called tips. Because as we start getting our information, our keywords, we now are creating what we call, if you will, a content plan or a structural plan for your website. Same thing I did and showed y'all in regards to the sod site. Okay. And once we do that, give me 1 second. We then have our, if you will, keyword plan, our content plan, and we know how we're going to structure our website. Okay. Already went over structural websites. If you have a question in regards to structuring websites, go back to the previous videos and go over that. Now, as far as actual keywords, we're wanting to look at this not just for how we structure the site, but we also want to look at this for content, blogs, press releases. There's only like, and I've mentioned this before, I only ever use SEMrush or SMrush when I'm building out a site. I don't really use it too much past that point. Okay, but I will show you how you can use it if you're adamantly wanting to use SEMrush. But there's literally 2 tools I use a lot. If you've ever heard of it, give me 1 second. Okay, if you've ever heard of this tool called Answer the Public, put a 1. Awesome. Answer the Public is a really good tool because you could type in, let's say, sod installation, and it will tell you everything, every question, ideas about sod installation. What are people asking or looking for? If you have not seen it, this is the website. It's really cool. You can, let's say, sod installation. I got fat fingers and they want to hit everything every time I go to type. But they put it out in a grid for you as well. And they also put it out in an Excel sheet, which is another reason why it's really cool. They give you 19 sod questions, right? How to bid sod installation? How much is sod installation? How much sod installation costs? Is sod easy to install? How expensive is sod installation? What is included in sod installation? What to do after sod installation? What to do before sod installation? What is sod installation? These are all questions that go through can, which, how, where, when, what, will, are, why, and who. Okay. And then you have prepositions, right? Cheap sod installation near me. New sod installation near me. Joyous sod installation near me. Bermuda sod installation near me. All these keywords, and gives you all this, right? Comparison, sod and installation. Sod and installation near me. Sod installation and watering. So it then takes it, categorizes everything down. And then you could take this, all of this, you could save the images if you want, but then you can also, the top right, you see where it says download CSV. You could download it as a CSV and say, okay, I like this, but I don't want this. Obviously, I'm not looking for sod installation in Jacksonville, Florida, or Ontario, Canada, or Huntsville, Alabama. I'm looking for mainly questions is what I'm trying to get at. So that's one tool that I use and I like a lot. The next one is going to be this little handy dandy thing we like to call Google. And people they can laugh at me all you want, but Google gives you what they want you to write about, right? Because Google tells you with SEO with Google, what they tell you is they don't want you buying backlinks. They don't want you doing this. They don't want you doing that. But they don't ever say, and then one of the things they do tell you, and I do agree with, is they'll tell you, we want you to create content or information that helps people. They reward you for doing so. It creates a longer dwell time on your website. Dwell time meaning the longer I stay on your site, read it. Does your website have videos on it? You know, all this information. Are those videos then tied to YouTube and optimized, which we'll be going over later? But for keyword research purposes, you see this right here where it says people also ask. All these questions, I want to copy and paste every freaking one of them. And then I'm going to go back through them. And every time I hit the last one, it's going to give me another question people ask and just keep filling it, that information, right? And I can take this and I can literally make this into an FAQ page or separate pages if I really wanted to, but an FAQ page in which I can make facts about sod, and I can take this information and I put it in my keyword planner. Okay, I'm not getting into conversion AI. We already went over that before. How to write your content. We'll do that on another day when I'm writing content, but not today, unless I wind up having enough time to go over it. Okay. But here's all of our keywords. Here's questions. We want to take these. We're going to put it inside and separate them according to whatever keyword, like how many inches of topsoil do I need? How thick should topsoil be for sod? How long does sod take to root? How soon should you walk on sod? All of those fall underneath informational keywords. How, what, why, where, guide, ideas, tips. Now I could also go tips regarding tips plus sod installation. And then it tells you here's some tips. All right. Here's all these tips. And you can make this into a whole nother page called tips page, tips regarding sod installation, just like we did. Same thing. All right. You could go over to how, what, why, where, guide. And you go to guide and literally guide plus installation, sod installation. All right. They have a guide. You see all these different guides in here. You know, it's giving you information that you want. So I'm going to use Google search to literally give me, this is what Google says people are asking for. I'm not going to necessarily go to SEMrush and ask, because what most people understand, SEMrush, Ahrefs, all these other guys, they have their own algorithm that they base everything off of, right? It's good information, don't get me wrong, but they have their own algorithm which they base information off of. They are not Google, okay? If I want the true, if I want to, if you will, as we call it in the States, if I want the information from the horse's mouth, then I go to Google. So I go to Google and I say, well, what are people asking about when it comes to sod installation, Google? And Google tells me, right? And then if I go down to the bottom, I also see, you know, other or related, you know, I go over all this and I can see related questions that people are asking or related search terms. And I'll show you the other tool I use as well. to do my keyword research. As I'm finding all this information, I'm going to organize it on my spreadsheets, which I'm going to put in the back end of the group. You need to use that if you're going to actually organize this, and you're going to want to organize it based upon what you want your site structure to be. Your site structure, like I went over last time, should be organized in such a way that it's going to be reflective of maybe your competition. What are they doing that's working? And then what does Google want according to your GMB? Okay. The next place I like this little tool that I have installed. It's called Keyword Anywhere or Keyword Everywhere. And it literally tells you this is what people are also searching for, right? Sod installation meaning, sod installation surfaces, sod installation costs, sod tips and tricks, sod installers near me, sod installation do it yourself, right? All these keywords, and I can hit export up here once I've installed this, and it will literally export all of this into a nice little pretty Excel guide, right? And it literally shows me everything I want. Harmony, 500 square foot Bermuda, bluegrass, fescue sod, zoysia, right? So it gives me all that information that I'm looking for, right? So this is another really cool tool I like, Keyword Everywhere. This also Find Long Tail Keywords Guide. They actually give you free information on how to find tips. This is the Chrome extension. It's Keywords Everywhere, and you can add in keywords, and there's all types of stuff you can do, right? It's a really cool tool, one of the ones I like. It's one of the ones I use a lot more, mainly because I use Google search. Now, if you're going to use SEMrush, we'll wait for this, but if I'm going to use SEMrush, for example, I go to Keyword Magic tool over on the left-hand side. See how long this takes to load up, because it is pushing this as well. Okay, continue working. All right, so let's go. We're going to go to keyword research or keyword magic tool, and I'm just going to type in sod installation. All right, so there's several different searches that it's going to go for. You have broad match, phrase match, exact match, related, right? You can type in include keywords, like keywords. What I would wind up in including is, for example, let me get this real quick. All these right here. And then I go over to SEMrush, and I want to include these in here and hit apply. Okay, it's not showing anything. But let's say broad match is going to be sod installation, sod cost, how to install sod, sod installation companies, installing sod, sod installation services near me. Is giving me all this information. I do not pay attention a lot to this over here, because mainly it's dealing with their algorithm. It's nothing I'm really concerning myself with. I'm concerning myself mainly with buyer intent. Okay, my main focus is not keyword density. It's not going to be what's the cost per click, how hard is it to rank for something. You know, the only thing I probably will even pay attention to is the volume. How much, how much traffic does a keyword produce? Based off of the traffic, based off the area they go, well, it's going to be this much harder to rank for something. I don't really pay attention to that part. I just want to rank for it. So I go into also, we can go into questions, and it will show you questions, all the hows, how do you do this? How do you install this? How much does it cost? How to install sod on dirt? How to install sod on existing lawn? All this information I can then go export with his right-hand click over here, and then I can take those and make those into a tip or a guide, right? And a lot of people, well, how in the hell are you going to make that in a guide? I will, if I have enough time. I'm going to show you Conversion AI again, and we'll go through that, right? So we got Google search, we got um, keywords everywhere, and we got SEMrush. And then of course, we have the other tool that I use a lot, which is your, if you will, your rank tracker. Your rank tracker software is the one in which I can type in someone's domain name or what have you, and I'll choose a domain name. Let's go over here. I'm going to sod installation. And let's just grab somebody. Let's just grab this guy right here. So, all right, let's go Midwest and shrink all this down. And then I'm going to pull this over here. This is rank tracker. I type in new, I paste the URL. It's going to pull all the information, tell me, oh, it's ranking for this, ranking for that. I don't give a shit about none of that right now. That's not what I'm using this for. I go to keyword research and I can get in here and I can pull what we call a keyword gap. And I can, when I'm actually wanting to study and say, okay, here's keyword gap is here's where I'm ranking. Here's where my competition's ranking. And I can see improvements. I'll get into that much later. But for now, we just want to do keyword planner. You can go into keyword planner and let's type in sod installation, right? And it will come back with, you know, different keywords that people are looking for. But the two that I want you to really look at isn't even the keyword planner. It's related searches and related questions. So under related questions, this is Google's autocomplete tool. So if I was to type in, let's say sod installation, it's going to only pull from Google and it's going to tell you what are other people looking for when it comes to questions related to autocomplete. The difference between this and using just Google is this will allow me to take all those autocomplete questions and just export every damn one of them in an Excel sheet without having to do a lot of the hard work myself. So once it's done, it'll show everything to you. Let's go through all this. It's almost done. And then I also do that for the related searches, and we have other auto-complete tools inside of this. It costs about, I believe, $250 a year for this specific tool. They have 4 tools. Altogether costs about $1,000 a year. This is one of the tools I use for my agencies that white label with me. One of the reasons why I say you don't have to have these tools if you're white labeling with me. It's because I have them already and I pay for them all. It's about 50% done. You see it down here. But what it's going to do is it's going to pull from all the related questions, all the related searches directly from Google. Once it's done, I will show you that. Okay. Now, for now, let me close out this window and we'll go back to SEMrush. So a lot of you will ask the question, let's say I got all these questions right here, right? And I go, how in the hell do I write for all these questions? I go to Jarvis or Conversion AI, which I absolutely adore. I do have boss mode. I used to have the pro level, but now I have boss mode. So in this case, let's say it's a question. Well, one of the templates that is inside Jarvis is Quora Answers. Quora, who here knows Quora. Quora Answers, right? And I could literally go, for example, and this question is how to install sod. I go, what's the question? How to install sod. And then what's the information I want to include is installing sod. Installing sod. I want it to be professional or I want it to sound like marketing. Let's go with professional and let's just put 3 outputs for now, just so you can see how it works. And I literally will take this and make either a tip guide or I'll make a facts page and say question number 1, and then in an accordion or however you want. See, for example, your question was how to install sod. Answer, installation of sod, particularly over old or uneven ground surfaces, is a process generally requiring the use of power tools. Care must be taken to edge and compact the soil in order to prevent runoff or erosion after sod installation. if installing on top of existing lawn turf, this can usually be accomplished by bop, 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 bop. That's probably about, let's say, 200 words. Now, let's say if I had 50 questions, I probably created, a good 2,000 word document, right? So I'll literally go through this and go, how to install sodgrass, how much to install, how much does it cost to install sod? And you literally go through how much does it cost? Let's go like that. Does it cost to install sod? And we go, I want it to include the word cost to install sod. Let's generate some more content. And it's going to show us, it's going to produce 3 outputs, and tell you, okay, this is how much it costs to install sod. Answer. Sod installations tend to cost around $3,000 US for an 800 square foot area based on costs from blah, blah, blah. This is where you'd have to edit it and change, where it's pulling this information from. It's saying sod.com. You could actually put your own site there because it's just trying to make up information. The trouble with turf grass is that you must fold it under the soil and water it, blase, blase. Then the next one, if you wanted to use this one, is answer sod installation cost between $5 and $7 per square foot, preparing the ground beforehand. And you literally just, once you have all of these Q&As, you can go into Jarvis under the Quora template and it will create the content for you. Right. And now once I have that content, I can then take it and go through Copyscape and Grammarly, make sure it passes plagiarism. And every time I've done it, it always passes plagiarism. Make sure the grammar's right because I suck at grammar. It's never been my, strengths. And then once I do that, I can then push it through, let's say, page optimizer or Surfer Local, something that will help me optimize it. Or if you're like myself, I just optimize it based upon my years of experience. But I will use Jarvis to write my content the same way I would write if after I make my pages about, let's say, for instance, and I went over this the other day in class as well. It's on another video, how to write the content, in which I go, you create the title, what's my process, in which I create the actual page title, what's my outline, then what's my facts, and how do I create it using Jarvis. So let's say I want it to be about, and we'll do this again because I want to make sure. So we did our keyword research. We have our keywords and all that. Let me go back here. So this is a report that it's going to shoot out for me. Sod, how to install. How much does sod installation cost? How much is sod installation? How to lay sod DIY. What is sod installation? How to install sod yourself. All of these are things you could write about, or include on a Q&A or on a tip guide. And with this beautiful tool, and this is why I like it, all I got to do is hit export, and it exports all that wonderful stuff into an Excel sheet for me, and I can organize it. It is called Rank Tracker. It is at link-assistant.com. If you don't know where it's at, I will drop that tool as well in the back end to reference it, and I will put it in the group to reference it just in case y'all want to get it. Y'all can go get it. I'm not an affiliate of that product. But this gives you the information. Now, let's say I wanted to write about commercial or sod installation for residential in Missouri. I'm just going to give you how I personally would do it, okay? And what's my outline and what tools that I use with Jarvis when we write it. I want a title. Jarvis is going to come up with a title. I want an intro. I want bullet points, okay? Or what we call subheaders, if you will, subheaders or H2s, right? This is going to be your, if you will, your H1, right? This is going to be a sub paragraph, right? Sub paragraph. This is how I do it. Just give you an example. And then we're going to have facts, and then we're going to have an outro. Okay, and here's literally how I do it. You go to the templates, and you could go to blog and you could go, what's some topic ideas? All right. Let's say sod installation, St. Louis. Okay. And I want to write about residential sod installation in St. Louis. My audience is going to be homeowners in this case. I want it to be professional or informative. In this case, informative. Why? Because they're in the process. Buyer intent, informational. I'm trying to give them information, okay, about my product or service so they warm up to the fact about buying from me. You can give examples, and then we go generate AI content, and it's going to generate, in this case, 5 outputs. Okay, 6 things to consider when choosing a sod installation company. Sod installation tips. How to maintain a St. Louis lawn. This is for a blog, if you will. But let's say we now have, okay, we want our header. Okay, then once I have my header, let's say sod residential, I'm going to go with something like this. Okay, residential sod installation. I'm using, one thing you got to think about is I'm using Jarvis to help me. You have to do your own research. You're still going to have to do some of the work. It's not going to do everything for you. All right, residential sod installation. Now we want an intro, blog post intro. All right, this is for specifically a blog post, okay? You can also use website for content improver, headlines, and stuff like that. But we're going to stick with blog. So blog post intro, right? I want it to be about, this is going to be my blog post title. My audience is going to be homeowners once again. Professional, generate some AI content. And then once it's done, it's going to spit out AI content. The process of installing sod in your yard is one that can take a few days to complete. The first step will be It gives you an intro. So I take that intro, if you will. Let's say I want to take this one, right? And I'll show you once we're done with this. Now, once I have the intro, I go back to my templates. And let's say I go back to blog and I go to blog post outline. And what do I want it to be about? Once again, I want it to be about residential sod installation is what I want it to be about. Tone of voice professional. It's going to shoot out an output of bullet points. One of the things we'll do sometimes that helps with on-page optimization is we'll take these bullet points, make them into subheaders, and then we also do anchor text from the subheader to that part of the page, okay? So let's say we take this. This is going to be our bullet points. So when I go into Jarvis, each one of these things are going to be content of Jarvis right about sod installation, this part. All right. So now I'm going to go to, if you will, long form content. If I wanted to, I go to start from scratch, right? And I could take all of this content. Let's say this. In Jarvis, what I normally do, I put pound because it tells Jarvis basically, hey, this is going to be a header, right? And then I hit compose. I want it medium. Some people choose long, but I choose medium. Jarvis is then going to create content for me. However many homeowners wonder if this, do I want them to do this again? You know, I can go through boss mode and I can rewrite it, or I can compose it. I can go back in here and edit it, right? Depending on what I'm looking for, okay? However, during warmer months, water usage can be higher due to the weather and heat, you know, compose. And okay, so that question's answered. And then I can go into it and then I go, okay, what's the next subheader I want to do? In this case, it'd be this, right? This is going to be one header. This is H2. This is going to be an H2. Okay, and I could tell Jarvis, hey, now compose again for the next one. Right, once it's done is when I'm going to go back through it and everything else. So I use Jarvis and I take all those, and now once I'm done with that, then I go to my templates and I go back to blog and I write an outro or a conclusion paragraph. What is my conclusion paragraph going to be about? Sod installation. What's the name, you know, what's the outline or what's the main points? His main points is going to be sod installation and sod installation cost and stuff like this, right? So then what's the call to action? Call us today for your sod installation, residential sod installation estimate, professional, and it's going to produce an outro. If you follow that outline that we just gave you, you will come up with 1,500 words very easily. We do it generally in about 20 minutes. Like this. Conclusion paragraph. Tired of your lawn dying and weeds taking over? Call us today to schedule a residential sod installation estimate. Whether you want to install 1 or 10 acres, we've got the solution for you. We specialize in residential sod installations with an expert staff, blah, 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 and leaves a blank phone number or 55555, and you put your own phone number in there. So that's going to be what we use and how the outline is. And I'll put that in the back end of the group as well in regards to how do we write, if you will, content for these pages. So let me save this real quick for y'all. Outline for content. All right. And then we can go into, if you really want to see some of this stuff, this is what we wrote for the let me get back out of here. And if, like I've said, if you have questions, just make sure to drop them in chat and I will go through those questions. But I'm going to show you all some of the content we came up with using Jarvis. Okay. One of which, let's say, for example, this is benefits of sodding. Right. Sodding is one of the best ways to protect your yard from weeds. Sod is typically a dense living ground cover that will outcompete weeds. Sod also retains moisture better than dirt. Also, blah, 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 blah. Why do we use sod? Looks great with landscaping, improves the soil by adding nutrients, helps to prevent erosion, saves time on mowing, fertilizer, trimming, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And we'll take this and we'll create, or if you will, all of our pages are going to be based off of this. Commercial sodding services, for example. All right. Commercial sod services in St. Louis. And then what's the benefits of commercial sod services? You know, and then the conclusion is down here. Your intro's up here, conclusions down here, are, if you will, subheaders, if you will, are bullet points. So we lay it out are right here. And we did about 20 something pages like this. So that's how we're going to create content. Let me see what type of questions we got coming in, and I'm going to take some time to answer them. Give me 1 second here. All right. So let's see. Go through all this. If you got questions, make sure to drop them in. Buyer intent is a question. Yep. Keyword specific to buying. Correct. Transactional, navigational, informational. So it's informational, transactional, navigational. First step is going to be information. I'm looking for information. Next is I like your information. Now I'm going to try to navigate, if you will, and learn more about your brand and your service. This is where you'll see in CTR will tell you not just to do just your keyword sod installation. Also do your brand name plus the keyword, or your address plus the keyword. Okay. Then transactional is where I'm wanting to start buying. Okay. Let's see here. Go through all these. Awesome research tool. I'll drop those 3 or 4 in the back end that I use, mainly going to be Rank Tracker, Keywords Everywhere, Google, SEMrush only when you're first building out your website. Okay. And people also ask or answer the public. You copy, people also ask. Yep, correct. People also ask. I take those questions, and you can also take those questions. Another thing you can do, Delaney, is you take those questions. I'll show you that one last thing. You take those questions where it says people also ask, and you put it in Conversion AI through its content improver. And I can take that same question and same answer, and Content Improver will take it and not spin it, but it'll make it reword it so it's not plagiarized. And it'll reword it so you can use it on your site. You could use it to make a free ebook even if you wanted to. Jeff brought up that point. This is good stuff. Use what Google gives you, tells you. One of the things, for example, when we go to do our location pages, everybody's kind of like, why do you put things to do, places to go, restaurants and stuff like that on your location pages? Because if you look in the Google Maps, in your near an area, it gives you references to those things. Why? Because Google's trying to push you to different things and keep you longer on their search engine. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And it definitely works. All of our pages, anytime we do them, ask anybody in our past classes or current classes, when they do our location pages, they're generally on page 1 in less than a week or 2 weeks at max. Mickey, to determine search volume, do you ever use a large city near where you're trying to rank? Yes. That's the only reason I ever even use that tool. SEMrush I like is, what's the search volume specifically for these terms. Huge time saver, correct. Now Google works on intent. Doesn't matter which word you use, correct. You will see pages ranking for keywords even not having these words in the article, correct. Because what happens is if you're using those keywords, Google's going to go, oh, this dude, you're setting yourself up or herself up as an expert in sod installation. What I want and why I create all that content and create all those, if you will, what we call nodes relating that phrase or that keyword is I'm trying to become the number one dude or number one sod installer in St. Louis. So anytime they go sod installation, they go, oh, that's Bill. They don't have to wonder who's going to answer how to install sod or where to buy sod at, because I've taken all those keywords and all that intent and put it on my site. So they go, Bill's the dude. He's the guy that does the sod installation, right? It's the easiest way I can break it down for you. The difference between boss mode from my experience has a lot more, and I have it in the back end. I'm going to do it. Maybe we'll do a class on it on Friday, but basically boss mode, I can type in some controls like, write tips about this, in boss mode to just spit out tips about that specific thing. Write facts about this and it'll just spit out facts. If you don't have boss mode, then you can't do that. You got to do it a different way, but it's still good to use pro. And maybe we'll go over that Friday. If y'all want me to specifically go over that on Friday, I'll go over that on Friday. But let me know in the group, and if you want me to do that, then I will definitely do that. Okay. Let's see. Is that content accurate? As I've noticed that because some conversion AI sometimes makes stuff up. Best to check. Maybe. Once again, and I've said this and I've said it over and over again, you use conversion AI to help you. It is not going to do it all for you. Okay, you still need to go through it. You still need to polish it up. You still need, especially if you're in law or a doctor environment or something like that, you damn well better check it all. Okay. There's 2 tools to check for plagiarism, Copyscape and Grammarly. I tend to use both of them. Grammarly, I like for grammar. Copyscape, I like for plagiarism checker. Um, this class, yeah, I appreciate it, Rocky. This class is worth the price of admission. Can't wait for a Gutenberg website. Right now, I got 2 people, no, 3 people registered for the Gutenberg. I need 7 more people to register for it. Otherwise, that class is not going to take off. If I just have a couple people, I ain't going to do it. 10 or more, and I'll do it. All right. So if you want it, make sure y'all ask for it or go ahead and sign up for it. I even had it at $197. I dropped it down to $97, and it's going to be for 5 days and 1 hour a day. We're going to go through that. Okay. What determines how many outputs you're selecting when creating the content conversion AI? Well, the more outputs, the more credits you're using when you use conversion AI. So I use 3 most of the time. Do I use Yoast? I hate Yoast. I don't like Yoast. I will use it, but I don't like it because most people, it's kind of like conversion AI. They love conversion AI, but they get lazy and they think conversion AI is going to write this 100% polished article. They just need to take it, copy it, and paste it on their website, and everything's great. And I don't have to do no work whatsoever. And they're living in a dreamland because what you're going to have to do is still do some work. With Yoast, it's the same way. Yoast, I'll pay attention to a few things, but not much. Most people look at Yoast and they say, well, the page says it's a red, yellow, orange, or green. And they'll say, well, it says I'm green, so I'm doing wonderful. The main thing I like Yoast for, if you pay attention, it's okay. Do you have your keyword in your title, in your description? Do you have it as, is that the keyword you're trying to optimize the page for? Okay. Do you have an internal link, external link? Are you using a video or a photo? Those are the things you need to pay attention to. It also gets into, you know, how are you writing? Are you writing with this sort of word and all this other grammar that no one even gives a flying crap about? No one's going to go, well, that's, unless you're like some grammar expert, which most people are not, they're not going to pay attention to it. And to me, I just don't think it's worth it. Gemma, I'll be with you in a second. I use it just for a few things, and we will show you how to use it. There's also rank math. We'll show you how to use that if you want to see Yoast and rank math. We'll show you both. I'll also have pop optimizer. Pop optimizer is the one I would wind up recommending for most people. And I'll show you that. All right, let me go to the next question. So, but schema, no, I don't use. I wouldn't touch any plugin for schema ever, 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 ever. Okay, or my fact schema. I have my own team. We write advanced schema. Give you an example. Yoast schema. If you look at Yoast schema, it'll probably have 1 page of schema. It'll be like 4 paragraphs. It's real basic. If you look at the schema when we create it, it's about 40 pages of schema, all hand coded, all optimized, all maxed out to the max. And we do all that manually. I am actually developing a tool as well to create the schema. Enter in the information about the company, and it spits the schema out for every page. Then all you got to do is insert it. All right. And we'll go over that in another class. Gutenberg, if you want to sign up for that class, because this is what they're asking. Kevin, let me see real quick. Underneath SEO services on the website at rankfortress.com. I'll pull it for you guys and I will drop it in here. Give me 1 second and I will have it over for you. And then copy link address. It is right here. I will drop it in. This is how the sausage is made. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me go through. Okay. What will the content strategy for big sites like providing more than one service? I've kind of went over that. Atif Shah. Atif, I answered that. I actually did a review for you. So I'm only going to use related keywords to that related category on that GMB. If you're talking about national SEO, I don't do national SEO. I don't do any of that. I do local SEO. So I'm going to do the things that Google wants me to do. If Google, especially GMB category, says there's these 4 top categories that are related to it, I'm sticking to those 4 top categories. It is much easier as well to rank for. I'm going after sod installation, and I'm going to have my entire website about sod installation. If I'm going to do, let's say, residential lawn care, I want a separate website for residential lawn care. All my content, all my buyer intent, everything's going to be about residential lawn care. It's just how I do it. Devon, I'll be right with you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a bit. Let's see. I don't use Ahrefs. Never. I have at one point. I will not use them anymore, mainly because they treat their clients like crap. Has nothing to do with anything other than that, especially agencies. Shabazz, my niche is legal, and I'm having a hard time having Jarvis spitting out reasonable content. Yes, and you are going to, in my personal opinion, for doctors and lawyers, not because Jarvis won't do it, but because, you know, in my opinion, doctors and lawyers are very picky and have to be legally about what they produce as content, and what they're telling people, because they're held to different standards. Does the script work to boss mode? The script works with anything you want it to work with, from my knowledge. I don't use the script that often. The script you should only be using once in a while. And on top of it, let's see here. Copy leaks is also good. Can detect spun text. I've never heard of that one, but I'll check it out. Drop it in the group and I'll make sure I check it out and do a review of it. Brian, that's how you register for it. Yeah, I vote for boss mode on Friday. So if you tell me, if everybody votes in the group and says who wants boss mode on Friday, then we'll go over that. Correct. You add images and video optimized correctly, and we'll be going over that as well in a later class. Will pro version of Rank Tracker suffice? Yes, for what you do. I have Enterprise, which enables me to white label my reports for all my agencies. So that's why I use it. Gutenberg link is not showing in the chat. That's probably, yeah, I sent it to everyone. I'll send it to you, Lance, but I don't know why you're not seeing it, but it's there. It's a direct message. How you doing, Devon? Unmute yourself, buddy. I'm going to unmute everybody just in case. All right, there you go.
There we go. Hey, friend, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
You've helped me get very busy, so that's why you've not seen me in a while. I feel more and more often now. I have people asking me about your course, and I'm having to answer. So I wanted to stop in and just say hi. And then you actually piqued my interest about it because I completely forgot about your 1,000 pages of schema that you're offering people. That's still a thing, right? That's still something your team will do?
We still do schema, and then we're going to be coming out with it probably the next month. I have a tool in which we put in your information, and it spits out all those 40, 50 pages of schema for you.
Ooh, yeah, I know that's been an undertaking, but yeah, I just wanted to pop in, and for anyone who's new here, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. He helped my agency grow quite a bit, but almost too fast at one point. So
I remember he told me he was in my rank and rent program, and he had to step up away from it because he said he didn't realize that how much work it was going to take for it, and he wasn't ready for it.
Going to 120 sites very quickly is
yeah. Yeah, and that's what nice. I told him too. I said everybody thinks 10 sites a month sounds good, but then when you have to manage the leads and you got to manage the SEO and you got to manage the clients and the sales and everything, then they go, nope. So
yeah, no, I just wanted to pop in, just ask about the schema real quick. You'll start seeing me again more often, but I just wanted to say thanks for the original course and all that. So
Awesome. I appreciate it, Devon. It's good to see you again, buddy. I've been watching you. I always see you on Facebook, so posting
All
stuff
my
and I watch
motivational
it.
stuff for you. I
That's
always think of
right.
you for it.
Yeah, and I talk a lot about that in the new agency course we're doing too, because in the agency course we dig a little bit deeper into personal, my history and stuff, and then on top of it, who are you as a person, what type of client you want to attract, and that sort of thing. So, but I
Nice, man.
appreciate it. Thank you,
All right.
Devon.
And I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys. Any other questions? There was another one in here. There you are, Gemma. Looking for you. You had a question. You had your hand raised.
No, it's okay. You answered it. It was about schema.
Okay. Yeah,
Thanks.
schema. I could give you an example. Let me see if I can give you an example of traditional schema versus our schema. All right. So I'll get into that and actually show you data and data schema markup checker, whatever. And I know because everybody says, let's see, tree removal. Let's do that one. Tree removal. Let's say in Jackson, Mississippi. So let's go to this one and I'll share my screen with you guys. So let's say we're going to take this guy right here and I wanted to beat these people, right? Let's take their website link. The website link is going to be this one. We'll go to the schema structured data tester, run the test. And generally speaking, if they're using any type of plugin, you can already see, okay, this is dismiss this. There's no schema on here whatsoever. So I want to use a tool. Let me find a different one where they're actually using schema. So let's go to this one. I want to kind of give you an example of what the schema looks like on, if you will, what it looks like generally speaking, if it's Yoast or if it's just standard schema versus what does our schema look like. Jackson tree. Okay, nothing. Let's try it again. And some of them will have it and some of them won't. This is another way you can even find clients and actually go to them and be like, listen, your site doesn't even have schema and it should have schema. And let me help you out. And then you help them out. And the next thing you know, they become a client. And we'll go over that in another course on agencies. But let's say, for example, hopefully it'll spit it out. Usually it spits out about one page and it's going to say, what's your name, address, phone number, and that's about it. This is it. So this is your traditional WordPress plugin schema. This is it. Local business, and he even has an error in it. It has their name, address, phone number, what's their hours of operation. His image isn't even here. Price range fields all jacked up, everything. Now let's do hours. This is traditional of hours. This is one I did for an agency. Let's run the test and see what it says. And you'll see the total difference in it and everything and all that jazz. As long as this structured data test is going to work, you'll see it all. We keyword stuff it. We use every node, every same as, every article, everything we can put our freaking hands on, we use it. So you look at it like, well, it's only like 3 other things, but yeah, look at, this is your image object, very simple, very small, easy. What's your keyword caption? Where is it located at? Is it optimized? All that jazz. What's my local business structure? Look at this compared to what you just saw. So that is going to be one of the big difference. That local business schema alone is like pages worth compared to what they did. This is your creative work page, which most people don't even do. This is your person page, which most people don't even do. And you got page and page and pages and pages of it. When we write it and you actually see the schema, it's, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons, same as, and you're basically connecting the nodes when you do schema. With schema, you're wanting people to say, oh, when I'm like this, okay, roofers, or let's say tree removal. When I think of chainsaw, I think of a tree removal person. When I think of an oak tree, I think of a tree removal person. When I think of pine trees, I think of tree removal people. I want all the same as information. When I use certain citations, I want that BBB or Better Business Bureau to be related to this person. So that's what our schema is about. So you'll see a lot of, if you will, posts people will do in the group on schema. For example, someone wants me to do a schema check if you want. You'll see a lot of people in the group that will post, here's the rankings I got and here's what started happening. And you see the rankings going up. That's just from doing the basic on-page SEO and the basic schema, right? And I've told people before, it's like usually with a website, if you just do step 1, on-page SEO, step 2, content, step 3, location pages, step 4, I do schema. If you just follow that order, usually I can get someone ranking that was not even ranking before. So serviceteam.co, serviceteam.co.uk. And this would be the last one. Advanced G stacks. I'm probably going to actually stop doing a lot of the G stacks. We'll see. I don't know yet, Delana. It's something I'm personally thinking and testing right now myself. G stacks used to be a big thing. Now I think your time's probably put in another place better. And if you want to know why, I can talk to you about that. To me, the serviceteam.co.uk, this is pretty basic schema. So it's probably done with like a Yoast or a plugin. This is the one someone wanted me to look at. It's literally just this right here. It's just your postal address, your homepage, what days are you open, what are your hours, what's your phone number. You know, you're same as, you're only choosing like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and that's about it. You know, it's nothing crazy or anything like that. You know, I've had people not ranking ever. No, not one keyword in the SERPs, and then do schema, and then they're in the SERPs and they start climbing more and more and more. So if there's any other questions, just drop them back in the back end of the group and let me know if you have any other questions, and I will see you guys again tomorrow evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.